It's a bright sunny day in early September. Hi everyone, it's Becky here. So today I'm taking the bus crossing the Fraser River and then the SkyTrain to downtown Vancouver. Today is September the 4th, and as you can see, the trees are starting to change color now. I can spot a tree or two turning all red. And so SkyTrains, they run on bridges, and it's pretty dramatic here, going down through several bridges here from Main Street to Stadium Chinatown Station. So here we are arriving at Stadium Chinatown Station. So first of all, I'm gonna grab Udon noodles from this Japanese Odon restaurant. Here I'm going in. And it's pretty fun to look at them, making the udon noodles and boiling them in hot water. So it's my second time here, and today I want to try this curry udon with fried chicken on top. I'm going to start with the opening of the ceramic bowl, which is an ellipse, and then the body part of the bowl, and the base, which is quite big. So after drawing the bowl, I'm going to just try to suggest the thickness of the brim using loose broken curves to show the shine. And then I'm ready to draw the largest shape inside the bowl, which is the fried chicken. And then these thick strands of udon noodles. Yeah, because these noodles are pretty thick. It's just pretty quick to get them done. And then drawing these little organic dots for the crispy texture of the fried chicken, and these little circles for the green onions scattered on top. And then these crispy tempura chips that I added on top. And then the liquid line, which is a smaller ellipse, smaller than the opening of the bowl. Last bit of detailing. Okay, now I think I'm ready to draw the graphics on the exterior of the bowl, which is pretty abstract. Yeah, so just drawing what I see, these webs of lines entangled together. Okay, so now I'm drawing this piece of tempura pumpkin. This chain of curves, it gives volume to the piece of pumpkin tempura, the tail of the shrimp tempura and the puffy coating, and then using these gentle squiggly lines to depict the surface crispy texture of the tempura pieces. Okay, there we go. I think I want to draw the little dish holding the tempura. But before that, I want to draw my chopsticks. Well, so some chopsticks, they're more like two thin cylinders. This one is more like two thin rectangular prisms. And then drawing the dish, yeah, which is pretty shallow. Don't forget the brim. Okay, so now I'm ready to paint watercolors, starting with diluted lemon yellow for the crispy tempura and the underpainting for the soup. Grabbing some burnt sienna, orange, and raw umber for the color of the curry soup. And using diluted orange brown for the first layer of the fried chicken there on top. Some more lemon yellow for these bits of tempura crumps. And some more curry color in between the noodles. And a stronger tone there close to the brim. Okay, now I want to shade the fried chicken. Just using this leftover color from the curry to give it a bit of volume. And grabbing some lime green to paint these green onions, as well as viridian green to shade these bits of onion chopped pieces. Some diluted yellow ochre and lemon yellow for the tempura. Second layer, more concentrated paint of orange brown to shade these tempura pieces. Now, grabbing some cobalt blue and Prussian blue to paint the ceramic bowl. And some leftover yellow ochre for this little dish. Some more cobalt and Prussian blue mix for the stronger blue tones. Yet for the inside and outside the bowl, the lightest blue from that first layer is the shiny spots of the ceramic surface. So everything in the world has a sense of color or value transition. Something is blue. It's always more than just one kind of blue tone. I just added some vibrant orange for the tail of the shrimp, and then paint the brim of the bowl. Time to paint the shadows for the bowl and the little dish using leftover bluish gray. Shadows are stronger close to the bottom edges of these solid things. And that's it. Here's a look of my finished sketches of my lunch, which took me about 10 minutes. And I've got this beautiful view outside the window in front of me while I'm enjoying my lunch. After eating, I'm ready to sketch the sunny day greens outside the window. So I just created a rectangular frame above my food. I'm going to start to draw these people sitting on these concrete staircase, waiting for something. Or just enjoying the sunshine. So once I dived into the drawing process of this very mundane view, I found it to be really interesting. So these little people sitting on these big concrete staircases are actually pretty fun, adding a sense of surrealism to my sketchbook page. And these are people sitting sideways, looking at the SkyTrain station. And yeah, a group of 3 or 4 people here. And these people, they're kind of interactive with my food below. And it's really fun to compose the page this way. I just drew 2 trees behind the people and using these clusters of little squiggles to suggest the piles of leaves on this tree's canopy. And these are kind of like little hands. And in between the trees, I see these square and rectangular urban signs. And my main focus are these people, the staircase, and these trees. So I don't want to get caught up into way too much details. I just drew another tree. And this short concrete wall behind these people. And another tree a little more behind. Traffic lights. So when you're sketching a busy scenery, so make sure you have a focus. My focus are these trees and the people sitting under them. So other urban details, I don't want them to be way too sharp and come forward to compete. Now I'm ready to paint on the lovely greens, and so these lines will look less harsh after painting. Okay, so now I'm ready to wet the areas with clear water first, so the greens can blend together nice and smooth. Starting with this bright sunshine yellow green, which is lemon yellow, mixed with lime green. I also mix in a tiny bit of orange to show the changing colors of these trees. So as you can see, I'm having fun playing with more than just one type of yellow green here. So here I'm dropping on some stronger lime green and some more lemon yellow. So depending on my seeing, just be very expressive. Okay, so now I want to paint some light to medium greens. This tree overall doesn't contain that much yellow. So it's lime green mixed with viridian green. Pretty watery for the very first layer. Now I want to have some shading happening by mixing viridian green with burnt sienna, wet into wet. Because there's no hard boundaries between the light and shade area on that tree. Yeah, it should be looking fuzzy like this, according to my sensation. And then putting on a bit of yellow and green again for this tree a little far away. Yeah, so basically I'm playing with about 5 colors: lime green, viridian green, lemon yellow, and yellow ochre. Okay, so for these trees on the other side of the street, they are pretty intensely shaded. So actually mixing burnt sienna with viridian green for dark shades of green. The color of the urban structures in general is kind of grayish. And for these concrete walls and stairs, I'm just using the leftover bluish gray in my palette. Bit of green for the lawns in between each big stair step. Some more intense greens for a little higher contrast. And these little dots of red flowers. And these tree trunks, they're kind of greenish brown, and that makes viridian green with a lot of raw umber. Some more retouches of stronger greens, especially for this tree here in the very front. The definition should be a little sharper. Okay, and I'm just painting these people with leftover grays in my palette. And that's pretty much it. My little sketch, just trying to capture the moment in about 15 minutes. And here's a look of my stay at the Udon restaurant. Okay, so now I want to walk to Gastown, which is about 10 to 15 minutes walk from Stadium Chinatown Station to enjoy the historical Vancouver. Yeah, so it's a beautiful day to be out here strolling around this historical area of Vancouver containing a lot of heritage buildings. And this one is kind of like a mini Flatiron building. And this red terracotta restaurant building, the harbor center, and the Gastown steam clock. So this steam clock is very old, likely to be over 100 years old, and it had this pretty complicated mechanism working with gravity and other engineering parts making steam. So the time is actually wrong. It's 1:30, not 2 o'clock. And also I did the sketch on the last day of July. So there were a lot of benches and tables here on the curbs. Now tourism season is over. The city just took away the benches. Okay, so now I'm walking over to the Waterfront Station area, and this building always looks so beautiful in the sunshine. So I think I'm gonna grab an iced drink from the Ville Coffee. So I just got a cup of iced matcha latte to cool down. It's a pretty warm day here in the last few days of summer, and I'm gonna sketch my drink. So I'm gonna start drawing the lid of the cup, which is an ellipse with a bit of dent for the sipping area and the volume of this short cylinder. A lot of smaller ellipse and this sipping area. So that's the lid part. The body is a cylinder of about 2 to 3 sections, and the logo of the cafe. Drawing the ice cubes floating on the surface and the liquid line. Okay, so now I'm ready to paint the gradient of greens, starting with a warm, creamy yellow green that I mixed lime green with some yellow ochre. Yeah, for the bottom 40%-ish. And I'm continuing to drag the yellow green with my water brush, so it's a very diluted version for the higher 50% of the cup, which is very creamy. And there's some matcha powder sitting on the bottom of the cup, which is a very intense green. I mixed burnt sienna with viridian green, wet into wet. And these ice cubes, they're shaded with a darker tone of green, as well as this part of the liquid here on top. Slightly shaded. And I want to intensify the contrast here. And it's time to paint the logo with some leftover black as well as cobalt blue to shade the plastic areas of the lid, leaving some little white spots for the shine of the plastic surface. and then quickly paint the shadow. That's it. So now I want to sketch the waterfront building in front of me, outside the windows. Probably going to include the people sitting in front of me. I think the ladies are about to leave, so I think I'm just going to include the guy. Okay, sip my matcha latte and I'm ready to go. Starting with this, the middle part of the waterfront building, the layers of limestone, and then the terracotta sections, and the columns, and a window in between the two columns. Yeah, so just enjoying the process of drawing big shapes to medium shapes and the smaller shapes. And right now I just want to relax and give myself a lot of freedom to get these shapes in very quickly. So these are the green window frames of the ground level with high ceiling. Now this is the contour outline of the rooftop of the right wing. Okay, so before adding in those small details, I want to just add one character, which is this guy here typing on his laptop, starting with the back of his head, the shoulders, and I can only see one of his arms from this angle, and his pants. He's sitting on a pretty nice modern leather high chair, and adding a bit of wrinkles around his sleeves. Okay, so now I'm drawing his laptop screen and his shoulder bag beside him with the straps. And finishing off the tabletop. And now I'm drawing this the bottom of the windowsill that this man's shoes are landing on. And going back to the Waterfront Station building to draw these sections for the ceiling area. Yeah, these small shapes. And I want to work on these details from top to bottom. The white lines for the crosswalk. Yeah, and going back to the building again to do the next level. Dividing these into chunks of smaller shapes. And then these tiny details of windowsills, shading in these little square pieces with solid brown ink to show that there are really rooms behind these windows. And some more floating shapes and a lot of horizontal lines and vertical lines for the columns. These umbrellas for a restaurant on the ground level. Yeah, and just keep adding these lines without hesitation. We're always embracing wonky lines and shapes in the sketching world. Installing more windows and frames. These windows, they come in pairs. And these windows with high ceiling on the ground level, they're a little bit more complicated. So I just work quickly to summarize the shapes of the frames and just move on. Okay, so now I want to draw the interior houseplants of the cafe in the foreground. These greens, they're going to echo really well with my iced matcha latte on the left. So when I'm drawing these houseplants, I pay attention to the vines and then the leaves growing on each vine. Yeah, so these leaves and vines, they're really lovely framing elements to be added onto the right side of my sketch. Something organic versus concrete human-made buildings. And then I'm drawing the other building a little far away and the statue of the angel holding the wounded soldier. And for this building here, yeah, just install these windows in groups of 3s. And then shading in these window panels with solid brown ink to give a sense of interior volume behind these windows. And that's very much it, the line work. Now the ladies are gone, only the guy is left there still typing on his computer. Okay, so now I'm ready to paint the warm, sunny day atmosphere, the lingering summer days before fall arrives. Okay, so as usual, I think I'm going to start painting the sky first. I'm just going to wet the sky area with clear water so the gradient of blue could blend very smoothly with the help of water. And I'm going to grab cerulean blue, mix it with a little bit cobalt blue for the top area of the sky. And keep dragging the blue to a lighter value. I also mix in a little bit lime green into cerulean blue for a bit of color variation. So later in the afternoon, you can see a bit of turquoise and green on the lower part of the sky. Even some glowing yellow on a very warm sunny day. So my next step is to glaze everything under the sky with this super diluted yellow ochre. Yet for the warm day atmosphere, same for the exterior of the building, these white and gray areas, it contains the stain from the sunshine. Okay, so now I'm grabbing some orange, mix it with burnt sienna to paint this orange brown for the Waterfront Station building, a classical terracotta color. Yeah, as you can see, this part contains more orangey tones because more sunshine is landing on that part. And going back to my palette to grab some more burnt sienna. Every few brush marks, the color value is a little bit different. Now, towards the right side of the building is shaded. There's probably the shadow of another building landing on here. So as you can see, I mix in permanent violet. There's a very high ratio of permanent violet mixed with the burnt sienna. Yeah, there's a beautiful gradient, dramatic contrast on this building. And yeah, painting this part of the building is probably the most important part of this sketch. And I'm going to do the same thing. Color value transition for the higher floor of the Waterfront Station building is warmer towards the middle and colder towards the right. And this is the wet into wet technique. Okay, and some final polish on this Waterfront Station building. Now I'm using the leftover blue violet kind of gray to paint the shadows on the street, as well on these white columns of limestone. And grabbing some leftover yellow ochre to paint this building. And keep using the leftover blue purplish gray to gently shade these white limestone areas. Okay, now I'm ready to paint the houseplants inside the cafe, starting with this vibrant yellow-green. And then shade these leaves with the mix of viridian and a bit of burnt sienna. Yeah, so most of these leaves are actually shaded against the daylight. Okay, and I'm going to keep the painting of the leaves really simple, and this beautifully echoes with the iced matcha latte on the left. Keep adding more shadows using my leftover purplish gray. Yeah, and then painting the man's shoulder bag with some bluish gray. Grabbing some leftover green to paint these old-fashioned window frames. Again, another echoing color with the matcha latte and the houseplants. Okay, so now I think all the vibrant colors are painted. I'm using these muted colors, mostly the leftover blue or greenish grays in my palette to paint the statue and the buildings very far away on the other side of the water. Shade the buildings. And then paint this little flower bed using leftover yellow ochre and brown. This chair is like a leathery brown. And finally, it's time to paint the outfit of the man. So, you know, most people these days, they wear black, gray, and white outfits. But I like to turn their black outfits into lively purples and blues. As you can see, I'm using 2 color values. And the shadow's heavier on the bottom part of his shirt. His pants is kind of a light yellow one. And then, yeah, adding more contrast for his shoulder bag. And finally, I'm going to just shade these plants on the bottom of the flower bed. Because they're in the foreground, they should be looking a little stronger. And then that red awning of the restaurant, Steamworks. Final polish, and that's it. I had a lovely time here at the cafe, enjoying this super refreshing cup of iced matcha latte on a hot day. Thank you so much for watching this video, everyone. If you like it, please click like and leave me a comment below. Subscribe to my channel for weekly updates. And I will see you again in the next vlog and tutorial video very soon. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.